What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I went and talked to you about Hologram. So they did just submit their preliminary 14A meeting, shareholder meeting. I want to go over what it's truly saying and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So at the time of doing this video, it is Wednesday evening. So kind of disregard this, but essentially it's getting really hit quite hard in the broader market. And plus, on a side note, you're kind of looking at the secondary market and also dark pool, and dark pool is often enough linked to shorting and just larger entities and stuff like that. You're not seeing any transactions on either of them. So big money completely just overlooking Hologram. And in reality, can you blame them? Like, they have been issuing prospectus after prospectus, but not giving any validity to what on earth is happening. And if anything, their shareholder meeting that did or is being kind of announced is more red flags. So you guys know me by now. Hopefully I don't give you guys any BS. I just say it how it is. I could care less if you guys are buying, selling, or holding, or whatever floats your boat. I am not here to influence that. So getting right to it though, couple things that you need to know. So they did announce a shareholder meeting as of September 27th. So Friday, Beijing time, 9 a.m. So that is, I calculated it, 8 p.m. Central. So for those of you that aren't really doing much on a Friday night, this is the place to kind of go. So it's kind of an interesting scenario timing wise, but then again, what more can you expect, I guess? But ultimately, there is several different proposals. One thing as well I should bring up first is if you are wanting to vote, you have to be a holder as of August 21st, 2024. So if you did buy, for instance, after that, or you bought more after that, then essentially those won't necessarily count. So something to keep in mind. So there's 5 proposals. They did it in a weird format. So you can kind of see that it says to consider and vote upon a ordinary resolution to effect a 1-for-20 reverse stock split or share consolidation. So they're using weird terminology. Again, given where they're kind of oriented, that's to do with that. So ultimately, this is a 1-for-20 reverse stock split. So essentially, if they did a reverse stock split, a 1-for-20 right now, that would put it around the $7 range, just to put it in perspective. And on a side note, the reason why they are doing that is to rectify this deficiency, the bid price deficiency that did come down the pipeline, and that was right here. So they do have up until February 10th, 2025 to kind of rectify that, whether it be naturally or a reverse stock split. But then again, it even states right here that potentially another 180-day extension could be, they'd be eligible for that. So there is some leeway, but they are having it in their back pocket because if they get the rubber stamp from shareholders, they have 1 year to kind of affect it. So it's kind of like a coupon, if that's a weird analogy, but still. So if they get this, then they can do a 1-for-20. And then this is where I've never seen anything like this in the terminology. So it kind of goes to show that, it gives an example that currently it's 0.001, and so it's now going to be 2 cents. So it's the same thing for like a 1-for-20. This is just their version of an example. And then it goes from to. Very weird. But again, it kind of puts it, it's trying to give you an example of what is truly happening. So this 1-for-20 is going to affect everything, and rightfully so. So the outstanding share count and authorized share count. The only negative side to the authorized share count is right here, proposal number 4, they're wanting to raise it. So it's a really bad thing. They are wanting to recode everything. So this is proposal number 2 is to consider and vote upon a ordinary resolution to increase the company's share capital after the share consolidation. So that is obviously to do with authorized shares. So yeah, they are wanting to increase it. It does add it right here. So refer to the share capital increase proposal. So that is this proposal right here. So it's more of a dual class structure. So yeah, they're wanting to raise the authorized share count And that clearly, in case you guys do not know, is associated and to accommodate all these convertible notes, short-term notes. So the fact that they are actually having to vote on that is a very, very clear indication, in my opinion, not to be bearish. They don't have a plan, and they do not plan to pay these notes off early. Like I've stated, they are kind of seen like payday loans. So gets the company money immediately up front, but really damaging down the line. There's clauses that they can always prepay and kind of avoid further damage. But by them wanting to kind of state that in the shareholder meeting, they have no intention of paying any of these off. So in case you are new to the company, they did one on August the 23rd, all for the same terms. So I believe it's 28 million, subtract the discount. So I think it's around 25.4 or something like that. But so they did one here, July the 10th, June the 20th, and I believe one other one, May the 22nd. So, and this one, May the 9th, I think was something different. Wasn't a short-term one, but still, regardless, they have a lot of cash on hand as a byproduct of that. So this shareholder meeting is a very clear indication that they have no intention, again, to really change that. So proposal number 3. So whenever you are voting on directors, typically it's on a year-by-year basis, unless you kind of vote to change it. So that is what this is right here. I did highlight this. You can kind of see that they're wanting to change it to any period, any specified period in a written agreement between the company and the director. So essentially you could see 3, 5, or maybe even longer kind of terms of the directors. So this is where, once again, you really have to trust management. I think a lot of these companies in general that you're investing in that have some sort of debt that has convertible aspects to it, such as the notes, preferred stock, warrants, things along those lines, you really need to trust management and as well the directors. So this one, you're putting a lot of trust in that. Proposal number 4 is going to go back to proposal number 2, so it is essentially linked in that regard. It's very weird. So they're wanting to redesignate, so it looks like they're wanting to raise it to, I believe, this, but at the same time they're trying to change and code the class, or change it to ordinary, so class B to change it to ordinary B. And it looks like they're going to be changing the voting rights. So going forward, one class, one share of ordinary B is going to be 20 votes. So in the future, again, I didn't dive deep into who owns the class B right now, but if I was to make a guess, it would be insiders. So that way going forward, they pretty much have the votes in the bag if they need to do another reverse stock split in the foreseeable future. Again, that's kind of forward thinking, but again, that's they're laying the foundation for it to make it very easy for themselves. So then proposal number 5, so this is to adjourn. So if they don't get the results that they want, they can adjourn it to a later meeting. So not necessarily the best, but then again, typically whenever you have a company that desperately needs to have a reverse stock split or raise the authorized share count, or you need something like done, you add this clause to have a adjournment. And yep, in reality, based on I think the insiders that hold Hologram, I think it's fair to assume that a lot of them are going to get passed. So yeah, for the most part, this document goes over a lot of the finite things, goes over the time. This is 27 pages. Yeah, kind of just reiterates a lot of their weird examples that I'm not really familiar with, and I've looked at my share of 14F, so again, shareholder meetings. So it goes over just the basic Q&A, what the board is recommending, which of course the board is in favor of all of them. But yeah, I think in general, this is sketchy. This just adds a whole different level of kind of sketchiness to just the company itself. So you really, not only are you at this stage really believing that they have something in their pocket, right? They're sitting on 150, 140 million in cash and cash equivalents. And now they're asking for a reverse stock split, and not only that, to raise the authorized share count to accommodate for these notes. So I feel like it's again, kind of using weird analogies. This seems to be a video all about that. It's just someone begging for money, but then keeps begging after you've already given them money. So that's a weird analogy again, but you guys get what I'm saying. It's just, you have to really trust that they're doing something, and now they're asking for more without giving you any validity that they're doing something. That's kind of a good way of putting it all. But in reality, a 1 for 20 isn't necessarily the best. Just to give you a quick overview, they have done only one in the past. It was a 1 for 10 on February the 2nd, 2024. So with the new NASDAQ regulations that is kicking in, a company going forward, and just so you're aware, it hasn't actually been in force yet, but if a company essentially, I believe this is actually the document, so if a company becomes deficient in the future and they've done a reverse stock split in the last 1 year, they're not going to be entitled to any kind of leeway, as what is stated basically in this document, how they can get another 180 days. They won't be eligible. So this might be the last time that this company does a reverse stock split to rectify the deficiency. So yeah, it's NASDAQ's really cracking down on these types of companies that is reliant on, for instance, reverse stock split for compliance purposes. So yeah, what's your thoughts on Hologram? Again, I like to give you the guys the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the only good possible way of seeing all of this is that they have 140 plus million in cash and cash equivalents that they can do something with. They can buy a company, acquire, merge, whatever else. That's, I think, the only positive scenario at this stage in the game. Everything else seems to be rumors, even them participating in a conference in the next couple of weeks. And so yeah, it's anyone's guess. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, make sure you guys definitely take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. This is a kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.